Talks here, and I just want to say we are here with Steve. Steve and Mohammed Talks, or Mohammed and Steve Talks. It's the same thing. So today we have another session, not a session, but like, yeah, it is a session. So we have another session. We're going to be talking to Mr. Steve. So how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing today?
And okay, so I have a little question. So as you said, the voice of your business, your work business or something. I don't get that.
I know. Yeah, I said the power of your business voice. That's what the thing is. So what does that mean? So it means that when people speak English, particularly for business purposes, when it's not their first language, a lot of times they believe that there's something wrong with their pronunciation, and sometimes they need to fix their pronunciation a little bit. But after all that's said and done, there's still something missing, and that is people's ability to project their attitude and what they feel about what they're saying when they speak. So I call it projecting your personal attitude towards what you're saying onto the words themselves. So this can be described as, say, coming across in a more convincing way, saying something like you mean it. For anything we say, in any situation, there's some underlying message, a meaning. You can call it subtext that goes along with the words. So how you say something has to support the meaning of the words. And so this is what we can also call congruent communication. So congruency means that two things go along together, they support each other. So if I say, for example, I'm really pleased to meet you, but I say it like this, oh, I'm really pleased to meet you. Well, that's really boring. I don't sound like I'm pleased to meet you. So I've got to, that's not congruent communication. So something like this is more what I would call congruent communication, because you can hear it in the tone of my voice and even my facial expression. Hi, I'm pleased to meet you. I'm Steve, pleased to meet you. So that sounds a little bit more like I really mean that I'm pleased to meet somebody. So the thing is, here's another example of a sentence that came up last night in the first online class I had for this. So these are group classes, but I'm going to bring this to individuals too and advertise it as one of the programs I provide. So this sentence came up last night. Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Okay, so if I just say it like this is neutral. Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Well, how does that, when somebody says that, what are they thinking? They're thinking that I'm very disappointed. So if you say something like that, you got to sound disappointed. And how can we accomplish this? One way to think about it is this, think about which word we want to highlight or add some kind of stress to. We can call it verbal highlighting. So I'll pick the word believe. It could sound something like this. Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Well, it turned out to be 10 times too. So I'll say it again. Can you believe he's canceled 10 times? Now, the thing is, that sounds like I'm in disbelief, if I say it that way. But if I just say it this way, can you believe he's canceled 10 times? It doesn't sound like anything. So one of the guys, so here's another example. One of the guys on the call last night is in wealth management. He works in finance and wealth management. So you imagine somebody saying this, hi, I'm Jeff and I work in wealth management. Well, you could say it like this too. Hi, I'm Jeff. I work in wealth management. Hi, I'm Jeff. I work in wealth management. So that doesn't sound like you're really pleased that you do work in wealth management. So we could change it up something like this. Hi, I'm Jeff. I work in wealth management. So the idea there is to sound happy about what you do when you tell somebody what you do. So you want to make that hi and your name sound a little louder. Hi, I'm Jeff. I work in wealth management. So this is the kind of thing that's missing from people's speech when they speak English for business purposes. And so those were just two example sentences. But the thing is, this applies across the board to anything anybody says. So therefore, next week, one of the homework assignments was to choose a topic to speak on. And so there's an ophthalmologist in the class who I believe will choose something to talk about that has to do with retina. So she's going to provide a little presentation on retina. It's part of the eye. It's part of the eye. So she specializes in that. So she'll probably do something on that. And then the wealth management guy will maybe talk about what it means to be a good wealth manager. So everybody has an occupation, and they're going to talk about something that's related to what they do. And so the idea with this is to sound authoritative. People don't often sound authoritative. Like, they don't say things like they really mean it. You know, in their first language, everything comes across very well, I'm sure. But in English, things don't sound as convincing. They don't speak with the power and the confidence they really can. They're really capable of having. So one last thing about this. So now, because English is their second language or their other language, I don't know how many languages they speak, they're not accustomed to being this expressive in a personal way in English. Maybe they can do this in their first language, but not necessarily, because some people in their first language also are not expressive. So another thing about this power of your business voice is it really joins pronunciation, speech effectiveness, and a little bit of culture too. So depending on what country someone's from, some people they're not as expressive as Americans are. So some people are even more expressive than Americans. And so the thing is, what we have to do is make people feel comfortable, being that expressive. And so it takes a little bit of coaching. It's hard to really explain exactly, but I just let people know that if they're not expressive, if they're not personal about what they say, then it's not going to be as convincing or persuasive to their audience or whoever they're speaking to. And so that's it. And so what about you? By the way, I forgot to tell you, this takes a lot of creativity, because I create all my own materials and figure out what I want to do on my own. And there's no book or no one I learned to do this from. This power of your business voice is my idea. And speaking of creativity, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about creativity? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Definitely. So creativity doesn't ordinarily pop up from anything or anywhere. It's just from you. Now, what creativity is the fact that you make something of your own and you put your brain into it. You create something that you want it to be created. You want it to be in the world. Like, there's a saying, it's called, I think, I remember somebody, I met them in a place, and they were performing another thing, and they had a saying called, why won't somebody do something about this? But I realized that I am somebody. So you have to be creative in order to do anything. Like, go shopping. You don't want to just grab anything you can in the store. You want to be creative. You want to make cool meals, healthy meals.
Right.
Thinking is creativity. When you think, you're being creative. Instead of just doing or saying something, you gotta think. Be flexible with your thinking and make your creativity just pop out of your brain. Creativity is something that we all should learn how to use, because creativity isn't used in anything. You can't use creativity in an exam unless you know everything about it.
Right.
But creativity is something that we really need to handle, and especially now in schools, I don't think they teach them how to be creative. Because the only thing they say is, you go read, home, you read, you come back, you read, you home, you read, until they put that in their brains. When they grow up, the only thing that they look for is just a good job where the parents tell them and everything. They don't go for their dreams. They're just grabbing their dreams and stuffing them into trash cans. Now, we need to stop doing that in schools all around the world, because if you tell your dream to somebody, if you tell somebody, I'm going to become a taxi driver, your teacher will literally say, what do you mean a taxi driver? What are you going to do by that? She's literally going to grab your dream and stuff it in a trash can. But do what you want. Nobody's going to tell you not to, unless maybe that thing that you want to do is wrong. But other than following your dream, you're not doing anything wrong. At least it's legal to follow your dream, I think.
Right. So are there any ways in which you're creative in your daily life? Anything in particular? I know it maybe is a little difficult now because of our circumstance, but can you talk about how creativity applies to you a little bit?
Yeah, I be creative by reading books, by playing, and speaking about reading books, I also read about physics, and I read about motivating people. Now, I make videos in a creative way. I talk in a creative way because
Right.
I don't put the words inside my head and I have a machine that spells out the words. Now, that would just be a robot. I would just be a bot.
Right.
Fill my and
So
send it straight away. Why do a live meeting then? All I have to do is you just have to work with yourself. You have to make your brain just be flexible. You have to be great. You have to embrace your creativity. And speaking about books, I also read physics. Physics is a lot more creativity, and I love that.
right. So you like physics. So you're very interested in physics.
Yeah,
So is that something you want to do later on in life? You want to be a physicist?
physicists. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So what caused you to be interested in physics, and why do you want to do that?
So, first of all, I used to like chemistry, but then when I learned what chemistry really is, I was like, that's still interesting, but that's not my type. I used to think that chemistry was a chemist was a person that goes and explores around the world and brings new materials. But those are collectors, not physicists or chemists or whatever. I want to be a physicist because I like solar system. I like a lot about Newton's laws and about science. And also something that gets me revved up is physics and zero gravity. In
Right.
games, you need to know a lot about that stuff to make it really wonky and fun. Because this is something that is put in games. They use non-physical stuff to make the game fun and great, like Portal 1, Portal 2, I don't know, Uncharted 4, literally. Any game, there's not an exact amount of physics in it, unless, it's a really well-designed game with physics.
Right. So anyway, so what's going on next? What do you've got? You got anything going on for the weekend?
Not really. I really like to take a break in the weekends since we do a lot of stuff. We're active in the weekdays, but in the weekend I find a little bit of time, a lot of time, to just go ahead and do a lot of videos. So I take the opportunity, and also I find the time to take a walk. Sometimes we'll go outside with my family, and I make a lot of videos. And I mean, we're kind of used to quarantine now. Besides everybody dying, we're kind of used to staying inside. 3 whole entire months passed away like this.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got used to the schedule. It's gonna be hard trying not to go outside after quarantine, since we're gonna be quarantined for maybe more months, maybe years. Hopefully not, but nobody knows. I really think that quarantine did do some good stuff to us. Like, it gave us the opportunity to sit down and relax. You don't have to go to work anymore, and now you can just take care of yourself and your family and just learn more about the world. Go into the deep ends of your subconsciousness and just learn more about other stuff. You have this opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime. If you're still alive and you have a lot of time, you better use it because time is like gold. If you don't kill it, it kills you. I'm not saying like gold, it's a golden knife.
Right. I get it. So anyway, I guess we can wrap things up now and think about what our topic's going to be next week or the week after.
This was really fun. You had a really interesting thing. I didn't know what the power of your business voice meant, and I learned a lot of things. Gained a lot of experience. That was really fun. I wish we could do this every day, but too bad we don't have that much time, even though it's
Right.
important.
Yeah.
But maybe we could think of something else. Tune in next week to find me and Steve again having at it, and well, I'll see you next time. Thank you. This was amazing. This was definitely not a waste of my time. I should have stopped playing games years ago if you were alive, or if I knew you.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
See ya!